There's an old saying in the military that says brilliance in the basics, and that's true with survival skills as well. It's not just about practicing something until you get it right, it's about practicing something until you can't do it wrong. And with that concept in mind, this video is going to be about basic survival fire building. This is the foundation that you can build on so that you can get a fire under any conditions. Every fire requires fuel, heat, and air. That's the fire triangle. The fuel side of the fire triangle gets broken down even further. You have tinder, you have kindling, and you have sustainment fuel. So let's talk about the fuel first. I'm always looking for and collecting dry natural tinder. Normally what I'm looking for my tinder bundle is I'm looking for coarse, medium, and fine material. So generally speaking, what I'm looking for is some dried flower tops and some dried grasses that are seeded out. This gives me enough coarse, medium, and fine material to make a tinder bundle pretty much for any type of ignition source I plan to use. And normally I'm going to collect about enough to where, you know, 2 hands go around it. That's generally enough for a really good tinder bundle, even if the weather's wet outside. As far as putting my tinder bundle together, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. You can do a regular tinder bundle, you can do a bird's nest tinder bundle, or you can do a stick bundle, or sometimes it's referred to as a twig bundle or grass bundle. And it really depends on what your ignition source is. Today I'm going to be using an open flame ignition source, just going to be using a regular Bic lighter. So there's no reason for me to do a tinder bundle or a bird's nest, even though they'll work. I can just do a simple grass bundle, twig bundle. I want my fine material in the very center of my tinder bundle, and I want my coarse material on the outside. So what I can do is I'll take these dried flower tops, and these are super brittle and super dry, and that's kind of a coarse material. So I want those towards the outside. So I'll lay those out. Then I'm going to go gradually decreasing in size because I'm going to be putting this in the middle. I'll take some of these longer stalks out here. That's still pretty coarse material. And I'll put those as my next layer. That's kind of my coarse and my medium. Then these seeds, where this is headed out, that's kind of my fine material. I'm going to put that towards the middle. And then these kind of have the same thing going on. This is kind of a fine material on this flower top. And it doesn't matter if you know what the names of things are. It just matters that you understand the properties that you're looking for. So I'm going to put that super fine, or that fine material, right there in the center. Then I'm going to bundle that together to where my coarse material is on the outside and my fine material is towards the middle. So we need that. Then what you can do is, you can do it as is, like it is now, or you can take a piece of green, here we go. You can take just a piece of green grass stalk, a piece of green grass, and wrap it around and then tie it off. And that'll kind of hold it together until you're ready for it. So this is my basic grass bundle. I've got my fine material towards the center, my medium material on top of that, and then layered on top of that is my coarse material. Common to every fire is the need to go from smaller material gradually going up to larger material. So my tinder bundle is where my ignition source basically applies heat to the fuel, and that fuel gradually makes its way out into more and more coarse and larger material. So my kindling accepts the heat from the tinder and begins to establish that fire so that I can then transfer that heat to larger fuel. And that fuel is wrist size or larger. But for my kindling, I always separate it into 3 piles. I've got what I call matchsticks, pencils, and magic markers. Right? So it's gradually increasing in size as you go up. Now I've kind of gathered and organized my material. I've got my tinder bundle, I've got my kindling, I've got it separated, and I've got some sustainment fuel. I'm ready to start the fire. I need to establish a fire lay. Now there's a lot of different basic fire lays, but probably the most recognizable and probably the most simple is the teepee fire lay. I think the military also calls it the cone method. But regardless, what I'm going to do is take my tinder bundle. I'm going to start establishing a teepee. Now I'm going to add my matchstick size around that. Now, as a general rule of thumb, you don't want to add the next size until the flames have reached past the last size that you put on. But I think it's dry enough out here that I can go ahead and put my pencil size on top of that. So once I've got this established, I can just give it a quick light towards the bottom, and that fine material is going to catch. Transfer that to the medium material, then that's going to go to that coarse material on the outside. Then once that's going, my pencil size kindling is going to get going, as well as my matchstick size kindling is going to get going, as well as my pencil size kindling. Once the flames reach above that and this starts getting established, I can start adding my marker size kindling as well. Then once that's going, I'll add the fuel. Now understand, when you're making your fire lays, the teepee fire lay especially, it has a tendency to knock itself over. And that's okay, because all you're doing with the initial fire lay is giving the fire something to climb that's nice and airy. If it falls over, just roll with it. Remember, that doesn't have to be pretty. Fire loves chaos. The main thing is that it's able to climb and it's able to get air. Now my fire's starting to get established, and it's definitely above the last level of fuel that I put on, the last level of kindling. I can start adding some sustainment fuel. And sustainment fuel is wrist size or larger. And that's what's actually going to keep your fire going for as long as you need it.